Well, hello and welcome to this edition of Talk Time. And this time, we'll be talking about governance issues, we'll be talking about the elections, we'll be talking about what to look for, and so on. Please stay with us, and welcome to Talk Time.
It all begins as a cloud high above Ghana, where tropical rain falls in a rainforest. The rain passes through fractures in ancient rocks and begins its journey deep beneath the earth. Interacting with these rocks, it gathers essential natural nutrients in unique proportions. The rocks produce the essential natural mineral compositions required for healthy growth. The water finally accumulates in a natural aquifer where it is protected from pollution. Retaining its original purity and natural minerals, it is then extracted by our experts, where the remaining particles are removed. The water is then sterilized to keep it fresh and safe before it is bottled and made ready to drink. Not all bottled water is natural mineral water, so when in doubt, look for Voltic natural mineral water. Voltic, naturally.
As I indicated from the very beginning, we're going to be talking about governance issues. We're going to be looking at the elections, which are only a couple of weeks away, 2 to 3 weeks away, and the issues in them, how we intend to resolve the governance issues, what are the manifestos saying about the governance issues, our Supreme Court, and how it's managing, the law and the constitution as we approach, the elections and so on. So we're going to be talking about all these and more with a very, very special friend of mine, former minister of many things. He's actually been a district chief executive before, and many other things. We are talking about Mr. Akwesi Opon-Fosu. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you, Kwesi, for having me. It's been a while.
Yes.
It's good to see you. Good and been following Talk Time.
Yes.
And how you've been able to hold on to this platform and bringing the issues out to the citizenry. Thank you for all that you've been doing.
Thank you, sir. Now, sir, there's an election coming up in a few days' time, maybe 2 weeks' time. How are things shaping up towards the elections?
Yeah, thank you. So far, parties, the key political parties are in the field. The MPP, led by their presidential candidates and their running mates, and my own NDC, led by former President Mahama and Professor Nana Jane, the running mate for a great party, putting our cases across. It's very interesting in the field. Very interesting. The dynamics, the trajectory of our political journey so far. And for me, I think this time around, people are looking at the issues.
Some people have said, primarily your opponents have said that the former president will have only 4 years, 1 term, and therefore he cannot do much. And on account of that, they're urging people to vote against him. What's your take?
Where we are now as a country, we can't take a step more with this current leadership in whatever form. Anyone associated with this leadership should take a back seat. I mean, the incumbent government and their allies should take a back seat because they've done enough to take this country back. If you look at the report of Afrobarometer, just that, when 9 out of 10 Ghanaians believe that the country is heading the wrong direction, that should tell us something. That we can go on this journey with this leadership and their purposes. Because I've illustrated it before that supposing you are going from Accra to Kumasi and the driver takes the Winneba Road. At a point, you might think that he might go through Yamuransa or Boase, then to Kumasi. But if he continues to Cape Coast, all the way to Takoradi and gets to Elubu, then you know you are lost. This is exactly what has happened. If Ghanaians are saying that we are heading the wrong direction, this is an illustration of it. We are now at the Elubu border. Do we allow them to continue taking us to Côte d'Ivoire when our destination is Kumasi?
Okay. So you may be right. Okay. The current trajectory.
So the argument that John Mahama has just one term it doesn't hold. What has to happen now is to reverse the trend.
Agreed. But there are 12 candidates on the presidential slot. 12 candidates.
Right.
So if Dr. Bawumia, as part of the current administration, cannot go, are there no other alternatives? And why do you think so?
For now, I think that if you go back into history and you compare what John Mahama did as a president, for which the MPP led by Bawumia tagged him as incompetent. If you compare the records of inflation, of depreciation of the cedi, of exchange rates and all that, whatever they said puts John Mahama far ahead of them. I was looking at the Bloomberg report of the situation now, and it's quite alarming, where Bawumia, as the head of the economic management team, has brought this country to. It's quite alarming. So on the basis of records, if you compare John Mahama to all those there, he is far ahead.
Some of them have no records to compare.
Exactly.
Yes.
They are on the ballots.
Yes,
It's
they have no
democracy.
records to compare, which
Yes.
which may be indicative of the fact that they will do better.
I believe in experience.
Okay. What are the key things about the Mahama campaign which convinces you that it will do a better job?
From the governance perspective, he has talked, and I believe he's committed to restoring the foundational blocks of democratic governance: probity, accountability, responsiveness, rule of law, protection of human rights, ethics, integrity in governance, which are the foundational blocks. And his records are there to show compared to the MPP administration. He has also talked about institutions. Institutions are pillars of democratic governance. These institutions, judiciary, electoral commission, anti-corruption agencies like Auditor General's office, IOCO and all that. And then we are also talking about the judiciary. These are independent bodies that must demonstrate integrity. They are the pillars. You have a building structure with weak pillars. In no time, they will collapse on you. But these institutions have been compromised. They have been weakened. And at times, you don't know whether they are part of the partisan politics or not. But they tend to exhibit that. So if John Mahama says, I'm going to strengthen these institutions and make them independent as we all expect them to be. And I'm convinced he wants to do that. And for me, it's a good thing.
But no doubt by the time he assumes office, these institutions would already have been populated. Supreme Court is populated. So some say that there are too many judges on the Supreme Court and so on. What is he going to do? All the anti-corruption agencies have been populated already. What is it that he can do in order to bring about some changes?
You see, you previously I thought you need a kind of revolution that we had before to effect some changes. But now I'm convinced that you can use the same constitutional arrangements to effect some serious changes in governance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
take the Supreme Court.
Right.
It has somehow managed to earn the name, unanimous FC. How do you change that? What is the mechanism for changing that? Are you going to sack the current, occupants of the space? If you are not going to sack the current occupants, are you going to appoint a lot more, which will look ridiculous and absurd? What do you do?
I think he has mentioned setting up a governance advisory council. This more of advisory. I think it should go beyond that. We need a national institutional renewal or commission that will look at integrity in public services.
My problem is, how do you achieve that? I'm a judge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm sitting on the Supreme Court. I've displayed my bias towards a particular party. As a matter of fact, I was appointed in order to display that bias. There's a new regime. How does that new regime insist that I act on the basis of integrity?
I've looked at the Mo Ibrahim Foundation's report on governance in Ghana and in respect of the judiciary. There's been a dip from citizens' perspectives from in a decade, from 2014 when the neutrality from the citizens' perspective was 95.3 to 2014 when it has dipped to 68.3. This should tell us something. They believe the judiciary is not impartial because of appointments and other happenings. They believe judgments are not fair, the process. So I'm not in the position to take any action. But if I were, I believe that there should be a way to sanitize various institutions.
We're talking about the judiciary now.
Yes.
We are talking sanitizing institutions, so we are talking about judiciary. What about the investigative organs of state, which also have prosecutorial powers, powers to prosecute? Talking about independent special prosecutor, supposedly independent. You're talking about Yoko and others.
Yes.
Including the police service.
No, these things, some of these things have happened before. And what happened? There was an electoral commissioner who was removed. And through constitutional means. So there could be constitutional means to sanitize, to ensure that those who have shown their hands to have partisan inclinations to step aside. About a week ago, I heard Trump making some comments about his own institutions and taking certain measures. So the executive executive president has some powers to ensure that those in public institutions act to protect the national interest and not prioritizing self or group interests.
Everything we're talking about is hypothetical, they say.
Sure.
Yeah. So just in case there's a new president from anywhere, from CPP, whatever, and decides that these institutions are not as independent as they ought to be, that the personnel manning them are biased and so on, what is a guarantee that they can be replaced with better quality material?
I think that's the challenge for the incoming president. If Ghanaians have said that the country has headed the wrong direction, it is as a result of some of these actions. And it will be through this affection that will bring a new president into office. So based on that, you don't go and repeat what has gone on. You need to ensure that you do what is right. You ensure that you conduct your affairs with integrity so that you build the trust that will give you the legitimacy. Because as we see now, when you lose trust of the people as a government, you lose legitimacy. And that's what is happening now.
Well, viewers, we are in a conversation with the Honorable Akwesi Opon Fosu. As I said, he's been many things before, been minister before, been district chief executive, and all that. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'd like to find out from him how close is he to the Mahama campaign machinery. And if he's close, then we're going to pose a lot of questions to him. So short break, and when we come back, we'll be getting into the Mahama campaign messages. Short break.
It all begins as a cloud high above Ghana, where tropical rain falls in a rainforest. The rain passes through fractures in ancient rocks and begins its journey deep beneath the earth. Interacting with these rocks, it gathers essential natural nutrients in unique proportions. The rocks produce the essential natural mineral compositions required for healthy growth. The water finally accumulates in a natural aquifer where it is protected from pollution. Retaining its original purity and natural minerals, it is then extracted by our experts, where the remaining particles are removed. The water is then sterilized to keep it fresh and safe before it is bottled and made ready to drink. Not all bottled water is natural mineral water, so when in doubt, look for Voltic natural mineral water. Voltic, naturally.
We are in conversation with the Honorable Akwesi Opon Fosu. Probably remember him as Minister for Science and Technology. I think you were also Minister for Local Government for a while, and he's been many things before. Now, say, how close are you to the Mahama campaign machine?
I am a member of the Manifesto Committee, co-chairing the Governance Committee, as well as chairing the Local Governance Committee. So that's where my focus has been. At times I join the campaign, especially in Ashanti and western regions. I'm not a member of the campaign team, but I engage members.
Well, it's important that we are part of the manifesto committee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the campaign team is selling anyway. So what is in this manifesto that should give us hope?
Yeah, it should. The focus is on good governance, human capital development, job creation, wealth creation. Of course, and a key aspect of it is the 24-hour economy, which to me is a game changer if we want to turn our economy around. Other issues like human rights, justice, and all that are key components of the manifesto. And of course, we also we're looking at infrastructure, which will drive the economy and boost productivity.
For those who are listening to us, I'm sure some of them are saying, well, within 4 years, the price of kinky went from 50 pesos to 5 cedis. All that you have said, how would it impact on the concrete reality of our people? In terms of price of kinky, for example.
Yeah, one of the key areas that John Mahama is looking at is agriculture and agribusiness, whereby the entire value chain from agric work in the field, processing, packaging, marketing, and all that for local consumption and export. I think this is one area that will really create a lot of jobs. And apart from that, cut down on imports. Our food imports is now taking a huge percentage of our national budget, and to have the agric sector as a key pillar of what is to happen post 2024 elections in a Mahama administration is something that really encourages me. And I believe that it's going to be a very big game changer. You know, because I was in China recently. I was invited by a center that has been set up in China to promote trade and investment between China and Africa. They invited me to my organization is Africa Growth Solutions. I've been promoting trade and investment at the international level since we left office, and so they invited me. We went to sign an MOU to promote trade and investment between China and Africa. One of the areas that I visited was a farm which is owned by a veterinary professor who has established farms, animal husbandry, poultry, various things as part of his research. And all that. This poultry farm produces 50,000 eggs a day. It's a small farm with a staff of 4. And it's automated. The setup is automated, and I was amazed. From the feed to the chemicals, everything is produced on the farm. And I asked him the cost of the project, the investment. And he said, all that setup there was $700,000. And I cast my mind back to what we're doing here, planting for food and jobs. And the amount of money that was sunk into that. You know, if we decide as a country that we have a policy of say 1 egg a day for school children, it's a policy, and we have 2 million school children, and we are producing eggs. The investment that will go into this is not something that we cannot do as a people, you know. So, agric is something that we have to take seriously, and I'm happy that it's one of the key areas that President Mahama has been putting out there on his store. When the other time he explained that he was going to say Nkokoma, and he said Nkokonkitikiti. He was talking about poultry, you know, talking about poultry and encouraging people to go into poultry with the support of government with incentives. You know. But people saw it as something very funny. And meanwhile, we import eggs.
We import everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are some of the areas that, from the public policy point of view, we need to address. That where are the essential areas that we do not have the competence, and then we leave those ones. But the ones that we can produce here, we don't have any excuse not to produce eggs for our local market. We don't have any excuse. So all this pressures on the currency has to do with some of these imports, and it's other people's business. They might have been party financiers or whatever. Then they'll be importing all kinds of things, putting pressures on our own economy, on our own city. So it is a good thing to look at agric and agribusiness as one of the legacies he would like to leave in the 4 years that he is in office. And with that also comes with the infrastructure to support those investments, because if we are investing in agric, we need to also have the infrastructure, the water, sanitation, and all that, roads that will support the agribusiness. He's also talked about manufacturing industrialization, which envisioning having a technology and industrial hub to promote industrialization. So these are interesting sectors that he touched on.
You described the 24-hour economy as a game changer. What is it actually about? How are you going to make sure that people work 24 hours a day? What is going to change from what is happening now?
You see, we're talking about demand. I mentioned the poultry. Supposing we say in every region we want to produce eggs as part of the school feeding. We are giving the school children, whether in basic schools or secondary schools, 1 egg a day to help with their nutrition. and we are setting up these farms. It's going to create jobs. Depending on the capacity of the production, you have people running on shifts. There's a demand. So if the demand is that huge, it means that there's going to be production that will necessitate people running the shifts. I've been using this as an example. Growing up in Tema, when Tema used to be the industrial hub, and my dad was a supervisor with Parkinson Howard, the British construction company that built the Tema Harbour. Because there was a time line with when to complete the project, they were running shifts. And my father goes to work Monday morning and comes back Saturday night. They had camps. The supervisors stayed on site whilst the other workers ran shifts in turns. They had their buses that ran throughout the night in Tema, dropping people at work. That's the 24-hour economy. So there's the productivity. The first factor we are looking at is productivity. Mm-hmm. We are producing full capacity, which requires that there will be people running shifts. Mm-hmm. So for domestic market and exports, as he himself has explained, mm-hmm. we are going to produce various things for the domestic market as well as exports. So it will demand labor. And what are the supporting factors? Infrastructure. If we have produced in, say, the north, and we have to export or bring it to domestic markets within the southern sector, we need roads. So the roads now have to be built to support the 24-hour economy. We need to generate power to support productivity. So all these things are interrelated.
Now, we are in a situation where the country is broke. Indeed, some say that we are bankrupt.
Yeah.
Where are you going to find the resources to do all these things that you're talking about? Road infrastructure and so on. Where are the resources going to come from?
Yeah. The first thing to do is to build the trust and confidence in the system, for investors to have the confidence to invest in your country. There are investors out there who want places to invest if only the returns are good. But if you have a bankrupt economy, they won't come. So once there's the signal that this is a government that is going to play to the rules of having a good investment climate, they will prepare to partner with you. Some of the areas, sectors, government can pull back and allow private sector involvement. Especially, for instance, with the major highways. Government can invite private sector investment into dualizing these roads and tolling them. So it saves government the trouble of going to the markets, investment banks, the markets to seek loans for roads that, of course, they are roads that you don't get the returns. So you keep on piling to your national debt. So allow the private sector to construct these roads, and told them over a period. We know of PPP, which has build, operate, and transfer, build, operate, and own. All that we are interested in is to have good roads as citizens. So if it's a private person who has invested in the road and has told it and collecting his tolls, I'm happy. All that I need is to have a good road that will keep me safe from Accra to, say, Takoradi.
The problem is that some of these ideas are not new. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said the same thing in opposition and has been a total failure in government. He didn't realize it. How are we to be sure that your candidate, who is saying the same things, would not perform the same way that Bawumia performed?
Well, then we come to leadership. Probably Bawumia had good intentions. I don't know his role in all these things. But what has happened is not as a result of an intention to do what is required of transformational leaders who are committed to the public and collective national interest. We have been witnesses to a leadership purpose that is self-serving, and once the top presents itself as prioritizing self-interest, others will join. So most of these issues that have come up, scandals day in and day out, and conflict of interest, and loans that the leaders acquiring these loans have an interest and all that, it has been self-serving. Mm-hmm. But once you have a leader who is committed to the public interest, it becomes a matter of course to be able to implement these projects. And I believe that if John Mahama becomes president, we'll be able to realize these objectives that we all put in our campaign messages.
Well, viewers, we're going to take another short break, and when we come back, I'd like us to look at the conduct of the election itself. Is there hope? Do we actually believe that these elections may be free and fair? And what are the indicators? Short break.
It all begins as a cloud high above Ghana, where tropical rain falls in a rainforest. The rain passes through fractures in ancient rocks and begins its journey deep beneath the earth. Interacting with these rocks, it gathers essential natural nutrients in unique proportions. The rocks produce the essential natural mineral compositions required for healthy growth. The water finally accumulates in a natural aquifer where it is protected from pollution. Retaining its original purity and natural minerals, it is then extracted by our experts, where the remaining particles are removed. The water is then sterilized to keep it fresh and safe before it is bottled and made ready to drink. Not all bottled water is natural mineral water. So when in doubt, look for Voltic natural mineral water. Voltic, naturally.
Hello and welcome back to Talk Time, and we are in conversation with Honorable Akwesi Opon Fusu, former Minister of Local Government, former Minister of Science and Technology, and currently a member of the Manifesto Committee of the National Democratic Congress. Nancy, we are going for elections. Yeah. Do you have any hope that these elections will be free and fair? Free, fair, and transparent.
Yeah. We want to hope, keep the hope alive that the Electoral Commission will do what is right. Right from the onset, we've raised issues of credibility. Because supposing Ghana is going to play with Nigeria, football, and CAF appoints a referee who had previously been a coach of the Eaglets. I'm sure Ghanaians will object to that.
Mm-hmm.
We have a situation where the Electoral Commission appoints patrons of TESCOM. As to key positions, deputy commissioner levels.
Now, those appointments were made by the president.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, and that's CAF. So, that tells us that they do not want to have an elections that Ghanaians will accept as credible. Because these are partisan officials. It's not just that they are sympathizers. People have their sympathies. But these are officials who held positions in a political party that is contesting the election. So how do you expect?
So what are you going to do about it? They are there. There's one of them who is a member of the commission.
Yes, so
who has actually publicly said that his duty is to do everything possible to make MPP win. What are you going to do about this situation?
So these are the issues that we contend with. On our part, we'll do all that we have to do. Get our messages to the people, ensure that we mobilize them to go out and vote, be vigilant at the polling stations, collate our results quickly, and then follow through up to the point that the Electoral Commission will collate the national results. We would expect that they will not do anything to plunge this country into chaos.
What if they did?
No, you see, it has never been in the interest of an incumbent government to create instability.
But some have.
Yes, but at the end of the day, unless they are not guided by history, I don't know why people forget themselves. We've even as a country, we were here with Unigov and all those things, and we all saw what happened. Unigov and the attempt to assassinate the then electoral commissioner. I've forgotten the name. He had to scale the wall and run away and all that. In the long run, the very people who were architects of all this upheaval in the country became the losers. So we've seen this before.
Yeah, but it can manifest in different ways now.
No, Ghanaians are not timid. People forget themselves.
At the last election, your party claimed that it was cheated. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
In spite of that claim, nothing happened. You went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said everything was perfect. Couldn't the same happen again?
You see, 2020 is different from 2024. The mood, the mood now has become more intense. The mood for change has become more intense. And in the last days of 2008, we all saw how Ghanaians of all walks of life converged at the EC office. We don't want to get to that situation again as a country that over the years we have become the beacon of hope in terms of peaceful transitions. You know, we don't want to get to that stage. And on our part, as I've said, we will do what we have to do. But this election, people see it as NDC MPP. I see it as a group of people who have flew on the wings of the MPP to bring this country to where we are. And in the process have antagonized millions of people. There's anger and rage. People are angry. So the elections is going to be those who have been affected by what has gone on for the past almost 8 years. And those who are the perpetrators, they want them out.
So you think that the groundswell of concern is so huge that cheating is impossible?
They may attempt to cheat, but
they won't succeed.
They won't succeed.
Okay.
They won't succeed.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Thank you.
It's been a great pleasure talking to you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
So we have been in this conversation with the Honorable Akwesi Opong Fosu. I've been talking about the upcoming elections. We've been talking about governance issues and so many other things. First, we'd like to thank you for watching the program. In your homes, in your cars, in your offices, wherever. Thank you very much for watching the program. Because it is your patronage which makes this program what it is. Thank you once again. Thank you very, very much. But please keep your dial on Pan-African Television because we bring you the best in everything. So until we meet again next week, same time, keep watching Pan-African Television. It's bye-bye from all of us at the station. Adam Lumo, who is the director, George Vinet, the producer, the cameraman, everybody, sounds people, everybody. Goodbye. See you soon.